Hello and welcome to this video. I did a Thriva blood test the other day and I hate needles with a passion, so I thought if I'm going to go through this I may as well make the most of it and also document the experience and just tell you guys what it's all about, because this is a service that I find really useful. What is Thriva? Thriva is a home blood test service that's designed to allow you to take your health in your own hands while getting GP reviewed results. I discovered Thriva a wee while back after having some bad experiences with the GPs I was seeing. I decided to take my health into my own hands. I take levothyroxine for hypothyroidism, and to establish the dose of this, you do a simple blood test. But after receiving so many different opinions from different doctors, some said take more, some said take less, some said don't take it at all, I decided that I wanted to take charge of this myself. And I did some research and I learned how to interpret the results and decide how much thyroxine to take on my own. So this is why I started using Thriva, because they did a comprehensive thyroid test, so I could just do this at home and just figure it out myself. I just want to point out that this is not me slagging off GPs, because I know that they do some really amazing work and most of them know what they're talking about, but it's just in my experience I had really bad experiences, and I'll not go fully into that, but I just decided I'd rather just trust myself when it comes to doing this. So how does it work? So you pick your blood tests and you can even do a questionnaire so it can recommend blood tests for you. And once you do this, they post you out a kit and you do the test, which I'm going to shortly walk you through. And then you put it in a box and you stick it in the post box and you receive the results in 48 hours. What tests can you get done? So there's a massive list of tests you can get done. They cover things like comprehensive iron tests, omega-3, 6, testosterone, creatinine, thyroid profile, folate, B12, B9. I don't even know what most of these things are. Apolipoproteins, cholesterol, vitamin D, liver function, HbA1c and CRP, and I think that's just some of them. Is it accurate? So you may be thinking, how can you get an accurate result from such a small amount of blood? And I was thinking the same, so I was interested to read this, but the blood that you fill in the test kit is 400 UL. This is only about 10 drops of blood, but apparently the lab analyzers require less than 100 UL of blood, and research shows that you typically need about 60 UL for accurate results. And they also work with independent labs who are registered with the Care Quality Commission, and they have a team of NHS doctors, data scientists and clinicians that use the power of technology to further ensure that everything is safe and credible. And how much does it cost? The base price for the kit is around £30, and then you can choose to add on different tests and they cost anywhere between £5 to £19. And if you cannot bear to do the finger prick test, you can also pay an additional £30 to get a nurse to take your blood. But if I can do it, and like I am so scared of needles, then it's really not that bad. So I'm just going to walk through how to do the test. So it's advised that you collect the sample first thing in the morning after fasting for 8 hours to get accurate results. And it's suggested that you have 2 glasses of water 30 minutes before. It helps the blood come out better. And you should also do your test Monday to Saturday and avoid Sunday. It says that it takes about 30 minutes to do the test. It only took me probably about 10 minutes to do it. So what you do is you lay out the kit on a table that's lower than your elbow. This is so the gravity allows the blood to flow out easier. grab a clean tissue and fill a large bowl or the sink up with hot water. You wash your hands and then prepare your kit. So remove the cap from the tube, and there's like a little hole in the box that you can sit it in, and stand the tube upright. Then get the blood flowing. So put your non-dominant hand in warm water for about 2 to 3 minutes. Then after that, it suggests doing jumping jacks or swinging your arm or clenching your fist for about a minute. I just did it for about 5 seconds, swinging my arm around. It just gets the blood flowing to your fingers. It suggests that you stand up for the whole process if you're able to. Then clean your finger with an alcohol wipe. I forgot to do this myself. And twist the top of the lancet and place your hand face up on the table. Then you press the lancet down on the outside center of your fingertip until you hear a click. And as you can see from the video, I was shaking so much because I was so nervous. And it really doesn't hurt, but it's just the thought of doing it yourself, it really freaks me out. I'm not gonna lie, I really don't enjoy doing them. They definitely don't hurt though. Then you wipe away the first drop of blood with a clean tissue, and starting at the top of your palm, massage down your hand towards the finger and stop before you reach it, and repeat every 3 to 4 seconds, just tapping the blood into the tube. And it says on the tube where exactly to fill it to. Then all you have to do is shut the little tube, and you turn it gently depending on what tube you're filling. Mine was about 10 times. And then you can put a plaster in your finger, fill in the return forms, put it in the box, then put it in the little bag that comes with it, and put it in the post. So you can see here I still have one of the little lancet things. These scare the absolute shite out of me. I'm not gonna lie. I just hate doing it, but the fact that I can do it just shows that even if you have an absolute fear of needles, you can do it. It's really not that bad. Yeah, like I said, it doesn't really hurt. It's just quite scary to do, but basically you just press it down and it goes, and it like pierces a little tiny hole. You can't even really see, but yeah, you can't see it all, but it was like a tiny little hole. So that was just the other day. So the test kit that I did was the comprehensive thyroid test, and I added on the iron test. It was only like another like £10 or something to add it on, and because in the past my iron has been flagged as being too high, I thought I'll just check that that's all fine and dandy, so I added that on. So you can see here in the results that everything in the iron profile was pretty good. And I really like the way you can see your levels on a little bar, so you can actually see if you're optimal or not. However, the thyroid test did come back flagged with an abnormal marker, and I received a very informative review from a Dr. Manning, who wrote to explain that my iron profile was in range, but my TSH was high. And he explained really well what that is, and he suggested that I speak to a GP, as it seems that I do not have enough thyroxine. So I wasn't really surprised by this, because I actually did the thyroid test because I have been drastically increasing my exercise, and when I first established the dose of thyroxine, it was when I couldn't do any exercise. So I didn't want to just be blindly taking thyroxine, not knowing if my need for it has changed, whether it was more or less, because my lifestyle has changed so much. So yeah, I wasn't surprised to see a change there. So now what I'll do is I'll increase the thyroxine slightly, and I'll do a retest in 8 weeks. So the pros and cons. Pros. It's fast. I got my results in less than 48 hours without having to go through the faff of waiting on hold at the doctor's to have a doctor's appointment and, you know, speak to them and organise a blood test, blah, blah, blah. It's flexible. You choose what tests you want to do. It's convenient. You don't have to fuss around with appointments if you already know what you want. And you can get visual results. You can see where you are on a scale and compare the trend over time. This is something I really like, because when you go see a doctor, you don't often get the results, so it's nice to actually see what's going on for your own eyes. And what I also really like about it is that you can see if you're optimal, because sometimes a lot of suboptimal markers can just contribute to not very good health, so it's good to see where you are on that scale. The cons: it doesn't hurt, but it can be scary to do, especially if you're like me and you're scared of needles. It also costs money, so you know, it's not super expensive, but it's not cheap either. Lots of these tests you can actually do for free in this country where I'm from, so that would probably be your first port of call. Like, I mean, if for example you wanted to check your iron levels if you were feeling quite tired, like you may as well go through the doctor first. But if you get to the stage where you're not getting really far, and or you're like me and you know what you want to check, like thyroid levels, then it can be super useful. So I have I've got 3 tips for doing this test. One is, before you do the test, definitely drink so much water, because I've done this test a couple of times. The first time I had to prick my finger a couple of times because I just couldn't get out enough blood, whereas this time I drank a lot of water beforehand, maybe like, well, probably about a pint of water, and so much blood came out I could have filled about 2 tubes with just one finger. So definitely drink water. Another tip is to, rather than pricking at the top of your finger, prick just on the side. I wish I could like show you where I pricked. Maybe I can like draw a diagram, but yeah, just on the side. It's like not sensitive at all, so you barely feel it there. Tip number 3, this time round, because I was so nervous, I don't know why I was so much more nervous doing it this time round, I put on some music. So I put in earphones and I blasted Eye of the Tiger, and it just really helped motivate me to do it. And I think because it wasn't silent, I didn't feel just as nervous, so that's what I recommend doing. So that's everything for this video. I hope that was useful, and thank you for watching, and goodbye.